to CROCH-EH, a Canadian crochet podcast. I am your hostess, Claudia. Thank you so much for joining me today. I herald from the base of the Rocky Mountains in southern Alberta, Canada, and I love to crochet. If this is your first time, welcome. If this is not your first time, welcome back. Let's get started with what I am working on, since it's Wednesday. So I hope you guys all had a lovely week, and we'll start with what I am working on here. So this is a brand new started little baby pink sock for my daughter. I am using the Michaels. It's a perfect pair, or it's just called Perfect Pair, and the color is called Pink Cadillac. It's very pretty. So she asked me to make her some socks after I have had my 2 weeks of sock time, and this is what we have started. I am currently using the Susan Bates 3.75 millimeter hook because I like how that one feels and it works well with this yarn, even though this yarn calls for a 3.25. I just like this hook a lot better than my 3 and 3.5, so that's why we're using that. And I don't know why I've never used yarn bags before, but I haven't. But I picked this guy up at Michael's. They were clearing out this color. Of course, it has animal hair on it. It's just a plain black and white bag, and it's got this it feels like what an umbrella would be made of on the inside. And there's no pockets or anything inside. It's just a plain open space, which is fine. It works fine for what I'm using it for. And then it has these cotton sort of macrame things that you just pull tight and you can tie. And I've just clipped my, I've been doing a lot of cleaning up this weekend. So I have found, not this weekend, this week, sorry. I found a bunch of stitch markers laying around the house. So I've just been clipping them to this bag as I find them. And then it has two little baggies or pouches here on the front that I use. But yeah, so I was like, you know what, for $4 or whatever I paid for it, I was like, why not give it a try? It is perfect to hold. Actually, I've put some rather large things in here, but this is what I keep this in now instead of using a bowl or a basket for my crocheting, particularly for these little things. I still have baskets for my big stuff. But yeah, so I just keep it in here all the time. I close it when I'm not using it, and then I throw it in my bag so when I'm at pickup, I can work on it for school and stuff like that. So that's one thing that I am working on. The next thing that I am working on is I'm still working on my blanket. I'm just gonna grab this for you. I have to find my stitch marker where it was last time that we chatted. Oh man, somewhere. I know that I put one in here, or maybe I didn't, and that's why I had so many. Oh, here it is. Okay, awesome. Oh, that took a lot longer than I thought it was going to take to find it. So this is where I was chatting with you guys last week, or last time we were together, because it was 2 weeks ago, about where I had gotten after I was here and I made it this far. So I've made about the same amount of progress in the last 2 weeks from here to here as I did from here to about here. So I haven't been working on this a ton. I'm going to move the stitch marker right now for you. So I was here. And that's okay. I have made some progress on it, which is great. So I am on the last row of this alpine stitch. So I don't think I had made the alpine stitch. No, I just introduced this. I made this alpine stitch here with the heather gray and the navy. And then I'm finishing up this row to the end here. And then I will be on the color Erin for a good chunk, I think. I have 10 rows written down in my pattern, but I think I might do more. It just sort of depends when I get there, what it looks like. When I get to 10 and I see it, then I'll know if I like it or not. Otherwise, no. So yes, I will be. This is the color that is coming next. Just plain number 4 Erin yarn, Bernat Premium. And then after that, it will be back to the gold. So I really like this yarn, and I kind of wish that I had adjusted the colors a little bit differently to make more use of this, because I still have 2 whole balls plus this, and I don't even think I'm going to get through this, to be completely honest. But we'll see. We'll see what happens, right? It doesn't mean I can't change it on the fly, because I totally can. So yes, that is that. It is getting there. It is about, oh goodness, probably about a quarter done, I would say, the whole thing. I'm coming up to the repeat section where it has a really big section of light blue and turquoise that I am doing. which is, oh, I must have used my whole ball of turquoise up. Sorry. This is the light blue. It's called Robin's Egg. It's really, really pretty. Oh, I found another stitch marker in the box that it's in. And yeah, I got rid of it, or I put it over in my other basket because I did a ton of tidying up and I sold a bunch of the yarn that I was never going to use, and I just sort of moved things around in the house. So I've kind of forgotten where stuff is in some ways, and some ways not, but everything is up on the same level at least. So that is how far I got on that. So that is really all that I have crocheted this past 2 weeks, which again, I understand is not a lot. I've been super busy, like we all are, just doing life things and business things and all of that fun stuff, and trying to run the household and, you know, day-to-day tasks type of thing. So I've been just, you know, taking care of those kinds of things, just because that's what you got to do when you're the mama. What I have finished. So last week I was working on a toe-up sock, and then I finished that. So this is the toe-up sock that I'll post all of the patterns that I have used for these socks in the description box. So make sure you check that out if you're curious. So this is the toe-up. And this sock, I kept trying it on, and I ended up not really liking it. And I had to make, so you can see the tube is quite a bit bigger than the foot part, which is like, that's okay. But I wasn't expecting to have to do that. I was hoping it would be ever so slightly a bit tighter than this, because I like a firm feel around my ankle, but I wasn't able to get the sock on if I had the firm feel, because there's not enough like 360 stretch like around. There's some this way and some a little this way, but not in the amount that would lend itself to me putting my foot in the sock comfortably. So I had to add some stitches into the heel, into this part here before the heel goes, and then yeah, and then I put, I also don't really like the ribbing that I put on here. So I just consider this one a tester sock. I'm not going to undo it and save the yarn or anything like that. I think I'm just going to keep it and hang it up just as the one time I did this type of thing. Because I mean, I still like it and I'm still proud of it, and I really like how it turned out. It looks really similar to the pictures on the label, so that's good. Yeah, so I like this. This was made with the Pro Lana wool. Do I have any here? No, I don't. It's in my other basket. That's okay. I've showed it to you guys lots of times, but this is the turquoise color that I was using, and I was hoping to get a full second sock out of what I was using, and I completely did, which was awesome. So I tried out a top-down sock instead, and I wound up with this guy. I like this pattern a lot more. So again, I'll post the links for these in the description box below. This I found, I believe I originally found this as a YouTube video when I was searching cuff down socks, because you start with the cuff here, and it came up as a YouTube video, but luckily the YouTube video had the written pattern, so I did visit that, and I had some trouble with the written pattern because they don't use rose, and they didn't use, I don't think they had a yarn. Oh no, it was the Crochet sock yarn, that's right, that they used. Sorry, my mistake. They did have the yarn. But it wasn't what I was thinking it was going to be in terms, because it's like crochet this many until it's this long. And I'm like, well, like, it's not really working out for me. So I ended up just like, again, like writing down on a piece of paper sort of how many rows I had made as I was going along to try to replicate it. So you start this one. I messed up the cuff a little bit. It's inside out. So like the way that I sewed it at the end, it's inside out, so you can see right here. But it goes to the inside of my leg, so you can't tell. Anyway, so you start here and you go up and down this way to make your cuff, which next time I'm going to make this a tiny bit smaller, because while it fits on my leg, it doesn't quite spring back the way that I would like it, but that is a solvable problem. And again, this was a test sock, so I have another ball of this still, so I can make an actual matching pair. Anyway, and then in the edge of this, when you're finished, is when you start doing this. And the way that they did it in the pattern and in the video was that it's a spiral around, but when you get to the end of the row, you put a single crochet. So it does end up in their pattern anyway, at least on the foot at the bottom that I noticed, is you'll get a very noticeable line, which I think if you're a beginner crocheter, that it's totally fine to have it like that, because then you can really tell where it is. But I just used a stitch marker and I just did a spiral and kept track of where my end of the row was that way. And then the heel, we get to the heel after, and this was really interesting, and I did mess up on it. You can see that there's like air holes in it. So this uses a series of single crochets and then long arm crochet, single crochets. So I messed up on the long arm single crochets, and I didn't get it hooked into the previous row below, which that 100% would have prevented. See if I put my hand in here, it would have prevented being able to see these holes in here. Because that would all be like it would be sucked all down together really nicely, more like the rest of the rows here, because these are all together. But again, like I was learning, I've never done this before. This is a brand new skill set, and I really like the curve of the heel, and I wore this sock. It felt really weird, don't get me wrong, all by itself for several hours, and I thought that this being thick would feel really weird, and it doesn't. That part felt fine. If anything, this part across here, this felt, or not quite there. That's where the ball of my foot is. But right here, I could feel it a little bit. So I think this ended up probably about 2 stitches too tight. So I think that the next time when I make this, I will be cognizant of that. But again, I constantly tried this one on. So I knew right from the beginning how big to make the leg part of this. And it doesn't feel as big to me as the leg part of this one, but I think if I hold them up, they're probably, yeah, they look the same. I think it's just how they ended up is that, I don't know, it's just, they ended up very differently, and I think I prefer a top-down sock versus a toe-up sock. Unless I was making slippers, I think I would do it this way, because I like the heel, sort of, I don't know, I'm 50-50. I kind of liked this heel better, but I kind of liked the way that this heel was made. I like how this one looks, but I like how this one was made because you don't have to go in after and put it in. Although, I don't know. I think this is something that I'm going to have to play around with. I also found a different type of pattern that it showed how to, you sort of make like a triangle and then you fold it like back on itself, and then it's hard to explain. If I can find that pattern, I'll put that in the description below, because I found that very interesting, and that's something that I would want to try, even not using the sock yarn. I think I would just use some like whatever leftover yarn just to work on it, and just the heel part to see how it goes, because it sort of marries the look of this where you have like that nice sock seam on the heel, and this one where you make it at the same time. And it's designed for a top-down hook, or not hook, sorry, a top-down sock, my bad. And then I liked when you add in this, so you start decreasing your rows here, because I really liked this, because it's so clean, and I really liked it. And then yeah, just kind of, I keep going around, and then I did have the tiniest bit of trouble with my foot. Sorry, my foot has already shaped this sock, so that's why it looks like it's pointy on the side. So it did not turn out like this originally. It's because I've worn it and now it's already starting to get shaped, which is fine. Anyways, back to the toe. I had the tiniest bit of trouble getting the seam to stay straight while I was decreasing my rows, but I don't chalk that up to the pattern. I chalk that up to the fact that I have never closed a toe in this fashion before. On this pattern, okay, if I was doing this one, I probably would have done the opposite to this one, to close the toe. So on this, we start like doubling, and then you go like every other one and every second one, and so on and so forth, to get that sort of like when you make a hat. It makes that shape, right? So it's nice and round, and it's like this one fit my foot like in the toe part just fine as well. It didn't shape itself though the same way. So I'm curious if it's because of the toe construction, if that's why it did that. Where was I going with this? Sorry, I totally like got off on a tangent and then lost myself. Oh, right. So I was expecting the pattern to read that you would like start decreasing where we started decreasing right here. So I thought it was going to say like toggle 2 together, single crochet for 5 stitches or whatever the number, and then the next row do 4 in the next row. Like you, as you get up, you skip fewer to create a similar idea like this, which if I was making a toque, that's what I would do again, is I would make the brim and then that. But this one, you always decreased 4 stitches every round on the way up, but you did it at a specific part. So it makes the toe of this a lot more flat. And now that I'm thinking of it, that would completely make sense why my toe would already be shaping this, and we would, that's where my big toe is versus this one, because this one, it kind of doesn't lend itself to that, does it? So I think I have seen similar knitting patterns for this style. Is it fish lips or something? No, I can't remember. I'll look that up and let you guys know. How about that? But yeah, so I prefer the fit of this these socks. These ones didn't go as quickly as this though, oddly enough, even with binding off and joint and restarting at the heel. This one went like a house on fire. And yes, I know the leg of this one isn't as long as this one. You guys won't notice anything in the editing process. Well, I mean, you'll notice that this has like transitioned, but my husband just came in to talk to me. So I forget where I was. I'm going to try to keep going. I know I was talking about socks. Oh yes, these ones didn't take as long, and I was saying, or this one took longer than this one, and I was saying that yes, like I realize like the tube of this part is longer, but I don't know. I think I'll have to time it. I really like how quick this stuff works up, and I really liked the size of these too, because these were fantastic to go and wait in carpool lane to pick my kids up from whatever activity. And even if I only had like 5 minutes, I could see a noticeable difference in the amount of like work that I had done. So that little pink sock that I showed you before that I have really literally just started, my daughter was asking if she can have a sock like this, but more shorty style. So it's not, the ribbing section is quite a bit shorter than it even would be for a child size of this sock, because she wants it basically to start right here. So she'll have the ribbing right basically at the top, and then I think I'm only going to do like maybe 2 rounds of single crochet in the spiral before I start doing the heel. But again, I'll get her to try things on, see how it feels, and we will start going with that one. So that was my really boring, I guess, adventure for this week. Was making these. One thing, I made this. Well, this is the kind of sock size that, I mean, I really like socks that go up to my knees, but even making this and not knowing what I was doing and not like, and being looser with my tension intentionally, there's still yarn left from this sock. Not enough to make another one of these size, but I could definitely make like a single baby sock if it was like a decoration or something like that. Like, I am so impressed with how much yarn is in these balls. Like, major kudos, love these. The store where I bought them, they have the same brand and same kind, but the color lots are completely different now. They're all like stripy with colors and then white or off-white. So I'm like, maybe I'll go pick some up. But I don't know if that's necessary because of the next part we're going to talk about. So I told you last week, and it got a little bit muddled up, and I do apologize for that. I am still learning the ins and outs of video editing, and clearly I am not very good at that, so I'm sorry, but I will reiterate what I was trying to say last time, is that Michaels is still having a clear out on several of their yarns, and they're between $3 and $5 and all that, so I picked up a few how many? 2 last week, I think. And this week I bought more because I was like, I like making socks. I think I'm going to have a change of pace and make socks for a while. So I bought these color. This is the Pink Cadillac yarn, perfect pair. This I can definitely get 1 pair of socks out, even in crochet. These are 454 yards, 415 meters long, 100 grams. I guess it's a number 1 super fine. Yeah, Pink Cadillac. what is in here? That's one thing I didn't look. Oh, right. So it's acrylic, which I don't love. I am trying to very slowly move away from man-made materials for things like this and go to natural. But for $3 and for me learning, I think this is, for now, this is better. This also has viscose from bamboo, which is slightly better because it's a natural material and it's polyester. But for the kids, I think this is a better choice than something that will wear through. And my kids really don't like pure wool. So that's something that I also have to be aware of, is it will just make them itchy and then they won't wear them. So there's no reason to make that. So this is the second ball. I bought 2 of these just because why not? To make my daughter a pair of socks. So I will make her a pair of socks that are like this, and I may make a pair of socks that are similar like this for her friend or something like that with the second ball, because this is not really my color palette, surprisingly. I'm just kidding. It's obviously not my color palette. The next color that I have 2 of is this really, really pretty peachy color. This is called Secret Garden. It is like the muted version of this, really, because where this is blue or purple, it's purple. It's like a lilac purple. It's great. This one's, it's really, really pretty. I really like this one. And I have 2 of, oh, this has duck feathers on it. My ducky is actually keeping me company today. I don't know if you guys can hear him chattering away. I also got this absolutely beautiful purple, which this is totally my color palette. This color is called Born to Run. Oh, I love that. So it is actually on the label, this guy is this one. This one, I don't have this color. I think it's this, I think this one might be Walk Like a Man. Oh no, this one is not Walk Like a Man. Walk Like a Man is this color, and this has no brown in it. But yeah, so this is, sorry, this one. See, Born to Run, I have 2 of these. I'm definitely going to make myself a pair of regular socks with these. I may do these. I'm not 100% sure. I have 2 balls of these, of this. I might make something slightly thicker. I was thinking of a thermal stitch to have something for hiking or even wintertime wearing. And a thermal stitch is very thick, but I've never done a thermal stitch in the round, so I don't know if that will work. That is something I'm going to test out with some just plain yarn, or some leftover scrap yarn, so I could see how that potentially would work out, because it's entirely possible that wouldn't work out and that I'd have to go back and forth, which is fine because I'm pretty good, if I may toot my own horn, at making nice flat seams that wouldn't interfere with the feeling of something. But so that is something that I would like to try with this pair here. And then finally, I bought 6 of this because it was one of the only ones left over. But I am not making socks with this, I don't think. I am making, and I kind of have it put off to the side. So this is actually, I suppose I could have brought this up to the what I am working on portion, but I worked on this very, very little and then I put it off to the side. So right now I'm actually making a tunic out of this. So I've got this far on it, and this yarn color is called Atlantic City. I liked the earthy naturalness, and I want to make this for fall and winter. So that's why I got this set of colors. This is not really like summery colors at all. Not that I tend to like sway toward like what's summery and what's not, but I wanted to just have this made. So it's starting out with a round yoke, and then it's going to have little sleeves, and then you can see here that there's a hole in the circle. I'm adding a separate panel sort of to the front of it, and then it's going to look cute. Just trust me. I hope, actually, because I have never made this before. I am making this on the fly. I have never found any patterns for anything like this. So this is a prototype in many ways with the yarn and all of that. So there's my stitch marker for that. Am I going back and forth? Yes, I am going back and forth with this one. Yeah. And I made this in 2 parts so far. So I actually did start right here where you can see the tail is, and I started making a few rows down this way. before I put this on, because this is the front actually, and then I wanted to have a little bit higher at the neck where it was joined, but not because the yarn is self-striping, it's noticeable. So I added a different row on top of it, and I crocheted back up to the top and ended here, and then this is at the end, or in the back, at the back of your neck. So I can't remember if I measured. I probably didn't. I think I just winged it. If I line it up, it's actually not bad. Nobody's really gonna know. So this is the exact back center. Yeah, it's a little bit off, as you can see, but so that is what the Atlantic City is. Is it a walking city? Is that maybe why the name of it is that? But I bought all of that because it was this color or this color that had a ton of them left, and I didn't want to wear that because I'm not a bubblegum pink girl, unfortunately. My daughter absolutely, me not so much, but that's that. So there's a little story about some of the other yarn that I was using. Okay, today in my channel that you should watch part of the episode, I would like to direct you to Kay's Crochet Haven. I think she was one of my first subscribers, if not the first, when I brought this channel to life. And she has been such a lovely supporter, and she's so awesome, and she comments, and she has these really fun crochet lives that you can join in periodically. And I don't know, I love her energy. She's enthusiastic. I love the stuff that she works on too. Like, she gets like the best yarns, and if it's something that like potentially looks like a boring yarn, like, you know, like just something like this, she turns it into the most awesome stuff. So I would highly recommend that you go check out her channel. So I'll put it up here in the iCards and also in the description box below if you're interested in checking it out, which I think you should. And what I am reading this week is I am taking a break from The Women Who Run with Wolves. I didn't realize it was as long as it was, and I keep saying that. But I'm finding the dissection of the stories at the beginning of each chapter, they're very long and, in my opinion, a bit repetitive and a tad unnecessary. But again, that is just my opinion. I didn't really realize that the book was going to be like that. My understanding of that book was that it was going to be more self-help directed, but it's not. And maybe it's just the part that I'm in now that it's not at that part yet, like how to run with the wolves, figuratively speaking, not literally. I couldn't keep up with them. So I have instead switched to The Wild Remedy, How Nature Heals Us. Oh, Mends Us, sorry. A diary by Emma Mitchell. And it is it's a sweet book. A lot of the complaints about it are that the writing style is like a diary, but I mean, in the introduction, it says that it's written like a diary, and even in the title, it says in parentheses, a diary. So I feel like people are pretty well prepared to be engaged with that, and that, I mean, if you're complaining that it's like a diary, it warns you at least twice that it's going to be like that. So this is a book from a lady who has suffered from depression in varying degrees throughout her life, and just how nature is, how it helps her, and like scientific research behind it, and the Japanese word, which now escapes me. I'll put it down here because I can't remember. There's a Japanese, forest bathing. Oh my gosh, Claudia. Sorry. It's forest bathing. There's a Japanese term for it, and it's not forest bathing, but that's what it refers to. Anyway, things like that, and how it has affected her in her life, which I am really enjoying. So I do so far recommend that book. I am about a sixth of the way through. Oh, sorry, I made that noise and the dogs woke up. Also, today I am wearing my summertime poncho because it is not very nice out. It is very windy. It is raining. It is thundering. It is going all over the place. My husband's also now decided to start drilling, so thank you very much. It's a good time to end, right? Thank you so much for joining me today. If you like these kind of episodes, give them a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button, and then you'll get notified of when I upload episodes, as long as you hit the little bell. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have a great day and a great week, and I will see you next time. Bye!